You don't realize it yet, but your greatest enemy has been sitting inside your own skull, whispering destruction into your bloodstream, knotting your ambition into a noose around your potential. You've been talking to yourself like a saboteur, feeding yourself poison disguised as caution, wearing defeat like a second skin. Every time you think I'm not ready, every time you think I'm not good enough, you are not observing reality, you are manufacturing it. You have been hypnotized by your own voice into a lesser life. And the tragedy is, you thought you were being humble or realistic. No, you were building a prison, brick by brick, made of your own trembling sentences. Have you felt it, that invisible pressure, that ache in your chest when you imagine your dreams slipping through your fingers? Not because you lacked opportunity, not because you lacked talent, but because you lacked the courage to speak to yourself like a warrior. That's the wound you carry every day, the fear of wasting your life. The terror of being just another forgotten name. The dread of reaching your final breath knowing you talked yourself out of the extraordinary. And for what? So you could stay safe? So you could avoid looking foolish? Meanwhile, the clock keeps ticking. Every second you allow self-doubt to narrate your story. Another piece of your future bleeds away. The world will not stop for you to get your mind right. The world moves for those who dare to command themselves. Understand this. Every word you speak internally becomes architecture. Every self-insult is a stone in your own tomb. Every whispered defeat builds momentum against you. But 3 days, 3 deliberate days could begin to tip the scale back. What if you spoke to yourself the way a conqueror would? What if for just 72 hours you refused to entertain a single self-diminishing thought? Peace would no longer be a myth you chase. Confidence would no longer be a costume you try to borrow. Productivity would surge like a river breaking through a dam. You would feel the weight of possibility settle on your shoulders like a mantle you were born to wear. You were never meant to live a life of quiet desperation. You were born with the raw materials of a legend, but you let small thoughts wrap them in chains. Not anymore. If you stay until the final minute of this message, you will be armed with a way to rewire your inner world so thoroughly that your outer world has no choice but to follow. It will not be comfortable. It will not be easy. It will feel at times like you are at war with your own reflex. But understand this, and understand it deeply. You are already at war. You are simply losing without knowing it. There are 2 selves inside you, one that was sculpted by fear, hesitation, and old wounds, and one that is waiting, armored in silence, breathing in the dark, ready to rise. Which one are you feeding with your words? This is not about positivity. This is about power. This is about control. This is about speaking life with the same intensity that you once spoke limitation. 3 days, 3 sacred days to change the conversation, to stop muttering fear and start declaring victory, to reject the old poisonous monologue of hesitation and step into the voice of command. You do not have unlimited chances to get this right. There is a version of your life that will only exist if you learn to talk to yourself like the king, the queen, the titan you were meant to be. And if you do, if you stay with me to the end and practice what I give you, you will feel it. That first quiet surge of real self-respect rising like a tide inside you. You will know what it means to be unshakable. You will know the stillness of a mind that is no longer tearing itself apart. And you will never again mistake fear for wisdom. Your destiny does not need your permission. It needs your decision. And it begins the moment you open your mouth and speak power into your own soul. The shift begins not with action but with conversation. The conversation you hold with yourself in the hollow hours before the world wakes up. You see, the mistake most people make is thinking change starts outside, a new job, a new city, a new relationship, but the battlefield has always been internal. Until you seize the language running wild in your mind, you are a puppet dangling from invisible threads. Listen carefully. You are not your circumstances. You are not even your past. You are the dialogue you choose to believe. For 3 days, I'm going to ask you to do what most will never dare, to weaponize your self-talk, to turn it into the sharpest blade you own, to speak only in declarations of identity and destiny, not commentary on your insecurities. If you need proof this shift is real, look at Theodore Roosevelt. As a boy, he was sickly weak, his lungs so fragile doctors doubted he would live long. He could have accepted that script. He could have been another forgotten figure buried under excuses. But Roosevelt talked to himself like a warrior in training. In his own journals, he wrote not of weakness, but of vigorous manliness and the strenuous life, phrases he repeated until they became his truth. He built his body with relentless discipline. He built his mind with even fiercer commitment. He became a rough rider, a president, a force of nature. His body didn't change first, his conversation did. Or take Harriet Tubman. She was born into chains, beaten, humiliated, hunted like an animal. Every voice around her told her she was powerless, worthless, doomed. But Tubman didn't let the external voices become her internal ones. She spoke to herself in the language of freedom, even when her body bled from the whips. She dreamed of the North so vividly she could taste it, feel it, smell it. She called herself Moses long before anyone else did. She escaped and then returned again and again to lead others out of bondage. Do you see it? The shift is not magic. The shift is mastery of inner dialogue. Even Leonardo da Vinci, orphaned, scorned, born illegitimate in a rigid society, whispered to himself of genius before the world knew his name. In secret notebooks, he declared himself a student of all things, a master of flight, a designer of futures yet to exist. No evidence outside, only an unbreakable script inside. You are no different. The life you crave, the respect, the mastery, the legacy, it is not waiting for the right moment to fall into your hands. It is waiting for you to speak it into existence with merciless focus. For the next 3 days, your orders are simple. Talk to yourself as if you are already the disciplined, brilliant, unstoppable force you were born to be. Not one sentence of defeat, not one whisper of doubt. If you catch yourself speaking fear, correct it out loud, replace it with a command. I am built for pressure. I overcome what others fear. My mind obeys my will. You will feel the old voices resist. They will thrash and claw for their throne. Good. That means you're close. You must speak louder than the doubt. You must narrate your life the way Roosevelt did, the way Tubman did, the way Da Vinci did, not waiting for evidence but creating it. Most will never make this shift. They will live and die muttering complaints and confessions of weakness to themselves. They will wonder why nothing changes. You will not be among them. You will talk yourself into the identity required to dominate your craft, your world, your legacy. Because the truth is simple, brutal, and liberating. The tongue in your mouth is the rudder of your life. It steers you toward destiny or it drifts you into oblivion. Speak carefully. Speak with fire. Speak as if the universe is listening, because it is. Mental training is not a luxury. It is survival. For 3 days, your primary job is not to work harder, not to hustle blindly, but to command your own mind with brutal precision. Because every empire is built first in thought, then in stone. It is time to build yours. Here's the training. From the moment you wake up, you will address yourself aloud, as if you are coaching the most powerful human being alive. You will not tolerate any hesitation in your voice. You will rise and say, I am focused. I am ready. I am inevitable. Before you check your phone, before you speak to another living soul, you speak to yourself like a general preparing for war. Throughout the day, when challenges arise, and they will, you will respond internally with a command, not a complaint. If you feel tired, you do not think I'm exhausted. You declare, I am forged by fatigue. If you feel fear rising in your chest, you do not shrink. You whisper to yourself, pressure sharpens me. Roosevelt did this relentlessly. In his diaries, he wrote affirmations of strength when his body betrayed him. When facing political ruin, he would address himself as if he were already victorious, already unbreakable. Tubman, moving through forests at night, hunted by men with guns and dogs, would repeat scripture and internal chants of protection and triumph, forging a mental armor no blade could penetrate. Da Vinci, confronted by the limits of his time, would scrawl words of boldness and invention across the margins of his sketches, talking himself into a reality the world had never seen. Your assignment is to catch yourself in the act of weakness and override it immediately with strength. You will do this silently when needed, out loud when possible. You will not allow your mind to narrate defeat unchecked, not once. If you slip, and you will, you forgive yourself instantly and reset the script. I am the kind of person who corrects course without hesitation. It is not about never falling. It is about never staying down in the mud of small thinking. This discipline, this inner correction, is how legends are built in silence before the crowd ever cheers. Practice visualization layered with language. Every morning and every night, spend 2 minutes with your eyes closed, seeing yourself operating at full power, speaking, moving. working, winning, while repeating your identity commands. I am relentless. I am disciplined. I am unstoppable. Speak with rhythm, almost like a drum beat. Let the words soak into your muscles. Let them replace the old viral infections of doubt. You are reprogramming your operating system, and as you speak and visualize, you will feel the old doubts trying to claw back into place. Ignore them. They are echoes of a defeated past. You are building a mind like Roosevelt's iron will, Tubman's unbreakable faith, Da Vinci's boundless daring. They were not born immune to fear. They built immunity through repetition. You will do the same. Talk to yourself as if the stakes are your life, because they are. In a world that is pulling at your attention, at your beliefs, at your very soul, the way you speak to yourself is your fortress. Build it tall, build it thick, build it with the words of the future you refuse to die without meeting. The training is simple, but it is not easy. You will be tempted to coast, to indulge the old voices, to compromise. Do not, the cost is too high. Every sentence you allow into your mind is either building you or burying you. Choose wisely. Choose ruthlessly. Choose to be the voice that your future children, your future students, your future world will quote when they speak of greatness. Because in the final equation, when all distractions are stripped away, the only real battle is between the voice that says I can't and the voice that roars I. Which voice are you training to be louder? And listen carefully. It's not just the big moments that matter. It's the small ones. The 5 seconds after you make a mistake. Do you tear yourself down, or do you lift yourself up with brutal compassion? The 10 seconds before a difficult conversation. Do you shrink inward, or do you steady your breathing and remind yourself, I am built for moments like this? This training is forged in the daily micro-battles that no one else sees. Roosevelt strengthened his mind during lonely nights before battles he wasn't sure he could survive. Tubman spoke victory to herself when the woods around her were alive with enemies. Da Vinci wrote promises to himself when his inventions looked like madness to others. They trained when it was darkest. So must you. Every silent correction, every whispered command, every refusal to give weakness the final word, it all stacks up. Layer upon layer, repetition upon repetition, you sculpt a mind that no setback, no critic, no failure can penetrate. 3 days of this kind of mental training will feel like an awakening. You will begin to hear your own voice in a new tone, harder, steadier, more certain. You will notice how weak the voices of the outside world begin to sound compared to the anthem rising inside you. And you will understand, with a force that moves your bones, that you were never weak, you were just undisciplined in your internal speech. Now you are armed. Now you are awake. Now you are dangerous in the best sense of the word, dangerous to mediocrity, dangerous to excuses, dangerous to the future that would have existed if you had stayed silent. Speak with discipline. Speak with purpose. Speak until your mind kneels before the reality you choose to create. To master your mind is to master your emotions, because without emotional control, all the right words and the best strategies collapse into ash at the first sign of adversity. It is not enough to talk to yourself like a conqueror when the skies are clear. You must continue when the storms scream your name. For 3 days you will be tested. Your old wounds will flare. Your habits will howl for comfort. You must expect this. You must meet it without flinching. When fear rises, you breathe slower. When frustration gnaws at you, you tighten your focus. When doubt hisses in the back of your skull, you speak louder inside. I command myself. I control this battlefield. Understand this. Emotion is a tool. Left undirected, it becomes wildfire. Harnessed, it becomes fuel. Roosevelt faced devastating losses, the death of his wife and mother on the same day. Most men would have crumbled. Roosevelt retreated into the Badlands, not to escape, but to rebuild. He spoke to himself with brutal honesty and a vision for resurgence. Tubman endured nights so cold her feet cracked and bled, days so dangerous a wrong move meant a noose. Fear must have been a constant companion, but she didn't silence fear, she disciplined it. She turned it into alertness, into cunning, into power. Da Vinci, frustrated by the slowness of patronage, the small-mindedness of peers, the agonizing delays of human ignorance, did not allow bitterness to consume his vision. Instead, he returned to his notebooks, his drawings, his inner world, expanding what the outer world refused to see. Their secret was not immunity to emotion, it was sovereignty over it. And now it must be yours. Here's how: when strong emotion strikes, you will step into observer mode. You will name it. This is anger, this is fear, this is pride, and then you will decide its role. Will you let it drive the car, or will you strap it in the back seat and drive harder? You are not your emotions. You are the commander issuing orders. You are the silent strategist above the battlefield, moving the pieces with cold precision even as chaos rages below. When you feel jealousy because someone else is winning, you will say good. Proof it can be done. When you feel anger because someone disrespects you, you will say good. Proof that I am visible. Proof that I am playing at a level worth envying. Every emotional spike is a chance to fortify your internal citadel. Roosevelt once said, "Black care rarely sits behind a rider whose pace is fast enough." He knew that forward momentum, driven by disciplined thought and deliberate action, was the cure for despair. Tubman didn't sit in sorrow when people betrayed her or doubted her. She acted with sharper precision, moving faster, planning better. Da Vinci didn't rage at the ignorance of princes. He created works so powerful they would outlast those short-sighted rulers by centuries. This is emotional mastery in action. You will practice it ruthlessly over the next 3 days. When anxiety whispers, "What if you fail?" you will answer, "I will adapt faster than failure." When sadness tries to sap your will, you will answer, "I honor my feelings, but my mission moves regardless." When anger surges, you will answer, "I use this fire to forge sharper weapons." Nothing gets wasted. Nothing owns you. Emotions become material, raw, powerful, molten, waiting for you to shape them into tools instead of cages. You will not seek to numb yourself. You will not lie to yourself. You will respect your emotional currents and then steer them. That is the heart of self-mastery. That is what separates those who dream from those who dominate. Remember, Roosevelt rebuilt a shattered life into a presidency. Tubman turned chains into keys. Da Vinci turned rejection into immortality. And they all did it by talking to themselves not like victims, but like sovereigns. Their words did not deny their emotions. They directed them. And so must you. You have no right to surrender to feelings. You have a duty to transmute them. You have no luxury of emotional laziness. You have a mission to fulfill. Your anger is energy. Your fear is alertness. Your sorrow is empathy. Your jealousy is hunger. Use them, all of them. Speak to them as your soldiers, not your masters. Build from them, rise with them, forge with them. Over the next 3 days, every time emotion strikes, you will smile internally, because you will know that this is the forge, this is the fire, and you are the blacksmith of your future, hammering out your destiny stroke by stroke, word by word, feeling by feeling. Master yourself, and you master fate. There is a voice inside you that is older than your fear, deeper than your ambition. The voice that knows you were not put here merely to survive, but to leave a mark that no storm can erase. Legacy thinking is the art of living in such a way that your breath continues long after your lungs have stilled. It demands a standard higher than comfort. It demands a dialogue with the future. Over the next 3 days, I am not just asking you to talk to yourself like a warrior. I am asking you to talk to yourself like an ancestor. Like someone whose words and actions will ripple outward into people you will never meet, across landscapes you will never see. Roosevelt understood this instinctively. When he built national parks, when he took political risks that would cost him power but preserve freedom, he wasn't thinking of the next election cycle. He was thinking in centuries. Tubman, exhausted and hunted, could have saved herself and vanished into quiet safety. But she didn't. She kept returning, freeing others, building a network that would eventually crack the entire system of American slavery. She thought beyond her own pain, beyond her own survival. She thought about the children of children of children who would walk free because she dared. Da Vinci sketched helicopters and tanks and cities of the future not because anyone asked him to, but because he saw further than the narrow cages of his own time. His notebooks, barely understood in his lifetime, became seeds planted for generations unborn. This is the perspective you must forge now. When you speak to yourself, do not just speak for your temporary comfort. Speak for your permanent contribution. Do not just tell yourself, "I can survive this." Tell yourself, "I am building a mind and a soul that will echo through time." When you want to quit, remember, quitting is a luxury of those who think only of themselves. When you want to lash out, remember, anger wasted is a theft from your own future lineage. When you want to hide, remember, invisibility buries gifts that the world desperately needs. Your life is not your own. It is a bridge. It is a torch. It is a whisper carried forward by generations who will never know your face but will live freer because you fought your own internal wars and won. Think bigger than pleasure. Think bigger than success. Think in the language of permanence. Your children or the children of strangers will live in a world partially built by the standards you hold or betray today. Every time Roosevelt chose rugged risk over political safety, every time Tubman chose danger over comfort, every time Da Vinci chose imagination over ridicule, they were making invisible deposits into a future they would never fully see. You must do the same. Every disciplined thought you plant, every courageous word you speak to yourself, every emotion you transmute into fuel, it all writes invisible architecture into history. It matters. You may not see it yet, but one day someone you will never meet will walk easier because you carried the invisible weight. And when you are tired, and you will be, and when you are tempted to speak small, to act small, to quit quietly, you will remember that this life is not a dress rehearsal. It is a one-shot transmission from the eternal to the temporary. How you live, how you think, how you talk to yourself, it will echo. And if you do it right, if you speak with unbreakable discipline, if you train your emotions into loyal servants, if you think not just for yourself but for the unborn, you will leave a legacy too stubborn for time to erase. Roosevelt left forests and monuments and ideals that still stand. Tubman left a template of courage so deep it humbles tyrants even now. Da Vinci left notebooks and dreams and designs that continue to shape human destiny. What will you leave? What structures will stand because you refuse to let your mind collapse under pressure? What words will others whisper long after your name fades? Because you first whispered them fiercely to yourself when no one else believed. Your legacy is built now, sentence by sentence, thought by thought, battle by invisible battle. Speak now the words you want engraved in the walls of time. Act now in the shadow of centuries. Build now what storms cannot destroy. Because the only real immortality is contribution. And contribution begins with the conversation you choose to hold with yourself in the silence. Choose wisely. Choose greatly. Speak like the ancestor you were born to become. There comes a moment, brutal in its simplicity, when all the talking, all the thinking, all the preparing must die, and the decision must be made. You are standing at that moment now. No one is coming to save you from your own softness. No mentor, no hero, no magical opportunity. Only you, naked before your own future, armed only with the words you dare to speak to yourself when no one else is listening. You must choose. Will you continue muttering the same tired fears into the marrow of your soul, or will you become the voice that thundered you into greatness? For 3 days you have been invited to a rebellion, a revolution inside your own mind, and the price of admission is simple: total loyalty to the version of yourself that fear tried to bury. Roosevelt faced the same decision when he sat broken in the Badlands, carving a new life out of dirt and discipline. Tubman faced it when she turned back toward danger to free others, even when her legs shook and the sky offered no mercy. Da Vinci faced it every time his ideas were mocked, every time his vision outpaced the petty minds around him. They decided. They crossed the invisible line inside, the line that separates those who talk from those who do. And now it is your turn. I am not asking you to become invincible. I am asking you to become undeniable. That when weakness comes, it finds no resting place inside you. That when fear comes, it meets a mind already fortified with the unshakable truth you have spoken into it. You will not crumble. You will not break. You will not die with your music still inside you. You will rise, not because it is easy, but because it is required. Because there is work that only your hands can complete. Because there are words that only your mouth can speak. Because there is a future that only your courage can build. So I issue you this final challenge. For 3 days, no matter the storm, no matter the pressure, no matter the failures or the doubts or the bruises you collect along the way, you will talk to yourself like the architect of destiny that you are. No exceptions, no apologies, no compromises. You will speak life when death whispers. You will speak strength when weakness trembles. You will speak destiny when delay mocks you. And if you fall, and you will speak to yourself not with shame but with resolve. I rise faster than I fall. I am built for storm. I am built for legacy. I am built for immortality. And you will stand up again and again and again until the very stones beneath your feet remember your steps. until your voice becomes the anthem of your own resurrection, until you no longer have to convince yourself of your power because it radiates from you like heat from a living flame. Bold, share-worthy line, there is no permission slip for greatness. You sign it yourself with your scar. Bold, share-worthy line. Average dies in the shadow of the person who refuses to stop speaking victory. So cross the line, burn the old scripts, talk to yourself with the violence of mercy, the fury of discipline, the tenderness of eternity. Let the world be noisy. Let the critics mock. Let the obstacles mount. You will be too busy building an empire inside your mind to be bothered. 3 days. 3 sacred, violent, beautiful days. That is all it takes to begin. And when you emerge, bloodied, exhausted, victorious, you will never again mistake the noise of doubt for the truth of your destiny. Speak now. Rise now. Begin now. The gates of your future stand open, and the key is already in your hand. The real battle is never won in the light, where cheers and rewards are given. The real battle is won alone, deep inside the folds of your mind, where no applause exists, where no witness stands but you. And now you are ready to win that unseen war, because you understand, real change is not an event. It is a ritual. It is not a single loud decision. It is 1,000 silent ones. You have spent 3 days peeling back the old layers, speaking the truth into the hollow places where lies once lived. But the mind, the ancient stubborn mind, needs repetition to believe. It needs rhythm to trust. It needs immersion to obey. That is why tonight, and every night after, you must replay the conversation that made you dangerous. You must drench your subconscious mind in the new narrative until it has no room left for the old. Close your eyes. Let the world fall away. And speak. I am the master architect of my life. I build thoughts sharper than steel, stronger than storms. I am unbreakable by choice, not chance. Say it slowly. Let each word press into the soil of your soul like a seed waiting for spring. You are not just speaking to your conscious mind now. You are speaking to the depths, to the part of you that breathes when you are asleep, that acts when you are unaware. You are programming the autopilot of your destiny. Understand this. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between truth and lie. It only believes what it hears the most. It only builds upon repetition. Roosevelt did not wake up brave one morning. He spoke bravery into his bones day after day after day until it became muscle memory. Tubman did not feel courageous every night in the woods. She sang freedom over herself until the melody became louder than the terror. Da Vinci did not invent wonder on a whim. He etched belief into his mind through endless sketches, endless words, endless visions, until doubt had no place to breathe. You must do the same. You must become a hypnotist of your own mind. Every morning before the world claws at your attention, you must breathe deeply and say, I am disciplined, I am relentless, I am inevitable. Every night before sleep pulls you into its silent domain, you must say, I am the master of my fate. I mold tomorrow with the power of tonight's belief. And in the moments between, the idle moments, the waiting moments, you must catch your mind wandering and gently, firmly steer it back. I speak life. I breathe power. I command destiny. This is how you build indestructibility. Not with one dramatic burst of inspiration, but with a relentless, almost obsessive loyalty to the new voice you have chosen to crown inside yourself. You must imagine your mind like a river. The old self-talk carved certain channels of fear, laziness, hesitation. You are not simply filling those rivers with positive thoughts. You are rerouting the river itself. You are building new canyons, new valleys, new oceans inside yourself where only greatness flows. It will feel strange at first. Good. That means the old pathways are drying up. It will feel repetitive. Good. That means the new ones are being carved deeper. It will feel exhausting. Good. That means you are pulling energy away from the old circuits and feeding the new. 3 days is only the beginning, but it is enough to trigger the transformation, enough to begin moving the roots, enough to set the new machinery of your mind into motion. And once you taste this power, once you feel your inner voice stand taller, speak firmer, breathe freer, you will never want to go back. You will know in your bones that most of the world is living in chains they forged from careless words, and you will have slipped yours without apology. You will become the one who speaks victory in a room full of silence. You will become the one who speaks courage in a room full of fear. You will become the one who speaks action in a world obsessed with delay. But it will only happen if you obey the ritual, night after night, morning after morning, repetition after repetition. Do not trust your motivation. Trust your discipline. Do not trust your moods. Trust your mantra. Do not trust your fears. Trust the future you are commanding into existence with every breath. Speak over yourself as if the stakes are your very soul, because they are. You are not practicing positivity. You are practicing power. You are not chanting fantasy. You are commanding You are not dreaming. You are deciding. And when the doubts come crawling back, when the old songs of fear and laziness and helplessness try to whisper their poison again, you will smile slow and cold and sure, and you will answer, "Not here, not anymore. The gates are closed. The throne is occupied. The command is final. Replay this message tonight. Replay it tomorrow. Replay it until the echoes drown out the noise of the old you. Replay it until your subconscious mind, your deepest self, has no choice but to obey. Plant the words, water the root, harvest the future. Comment the line that hit you hardest. Then play this video again tonight and let it rewire your subconscious.